Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Psicast. I'm your host, Robert Marsi, and I'm joined here with Bill Montana.
How is everybody doing tonight? We are on our second episode of Psicast.
Woo!
Made it through the first one. Pretty good. So, tonight we got more buzz on upcoming products. It looks kind of interesting to us. We also have some more tools and materials to cover, first off, and then we're going to get into some blindfold stuff. So this should be an interesting little sidecast for the mind-reading entertainer. So here we go. Robert, you said you had something new from Doc coming out that you caught on to?
Yeah. Anybody who subscribes to Doc Hilford's email list, if you get his email, there's some buzz going around that he is about to release a new routine, which is called Dream Book. And in this email, he says that it's been his upsell act for the past couple of years. And he said it's better than pseudopsychometry and Q&A combined. And the whole thing behind this routine is about personal dream interpretation. So, which is going to be really, really interesting because, I mean, not many performers that I know of do effects using dream interpretation. So this is going to be a very, very interesting routine. And I don't know when he's going to release it, but he's going to be releasing it sometime soon. So do me a favor, go to ientertainer.net and subscribe to his list, and then you'll get information as to when he's going to release that. But it sounds really, really cool. And the last one I talked about, blackmail, highly recommended. And at some point I'm going to, give you like a more thorough review on that because, I mean, he's going to be adding more stuff to it, like a Chinese envelope presentation. Just reading it just made me giddy. It sounds really cool. So he's got blackmail and now the Dream Act. So check out for it. Really, really cool stuff. As with anything, Doc puts out really quality stuff.
Cool. It's an interpretation. That's interesting.
Yeah, dream interpretation.
Well,
so any of those
coming out with a little dream implantation.
Right, exactly. And so anybody looking to incorporate something like that into their acts, using dreams and interpretations, then I would definitely keep my eyes peeled for this routine.
Yeah, because you'd always do the show extension with the bridge at the end of it and carry your thing on into the night. So that's, comes out to pretty powerful stuff.
Right, absolutely.
I think I might have broken the ground on that. So, in my buzz, we got something unusual. Now, this is, I don't really know how to describe it. It's called Double Whammy from John Kennedy. It's not even on the market yet. It's going to be starting to ship, I think Mark said on the 27th at Stevens Magic Emporium, from what I could read on the website. So, what it is a coffee cup, some dice. You have them select the dice, and they pick a number. You place the dice, the group of the dice, in the coffee cup. You turn it upside down on the table. You put your hand on top of the coffee cup, and one of the dice comes through the coffee cup, the top of the coffee cup. So it's kind of a reverse chop cup kind of thing. And then that dice has the number they selected earlier, face up. Okay? Then you put your hand back on the coffee cup, and it goes back into the coffee with the other dice. Now, there's a video trailer on this one, and it's John Kennedy for $29.50. Doesn't look too bad. Kind of a different feel, Mm-hmm. I mean, you could work that into a hop around or a close up type thing, Just because it looks like it uses a regular coffee cup and some dice, those are fairly normal props, and that's some of what we're going to talk about a little later. And I think that's it. Unless you got anything else on Buzz, I think that's it.
No, I mean, that sounds really interesting. The double whammy, and for $29.50.
Yeah, it's a John Kennedy piece, too. So, I mean, we know John Kennedy in the past has released some really good stuff.
Hmm.
You know, like, I don't know if you remember back in the 80s when he released his Rising business card.
Oh, yeah.
The little metal case that had the thing in the back, and you push on it, and the business card rides out.
His mind-powered deck.
Yeah, so he's released some interesting stuff in the past. So I kind of tend to keep somewhat of an eye on him, you know?
Hmm.
And we got a new product from Henry Evans called it's the Daredevil deck. It's a marked deck for blindfold work. Now, what makes this interesting is the marking system. You're not going to use this in close-up, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But the marks are really, really big, so you could read them at a fairly good distance with a blindfold on. Okay? They're about an inch.
Oh, wow.
They're relatively obvious. But if you're doing a stage blindfold act and you need a marking system that you can guarantee to read, this would probably be the one to look at.
Wow.
You're not going to use it. You're not going to use it for close-up work, okay? I mean, it's kind of obvious they're marked, you know, when you see a big jack spade. If you look online, you can see the marking on it. There's also going to be a little noise on this program because I'm checking a machine I got running, and I got to reload here in a few minutes. But so we have to deal with that from time to time. I don't want to be on this order all day. But it's an interesting enough concept that, you know, I mean, it could have its uses, you know. So we're going to drop into tools and materials.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've seen Henry Evans lecture a couple of years ago, and I hung out with him afterwards. And I'll tell you, the guy is pretty smart. I mean, some of the effects that he comes out with. I mean, most of it is not my kind of, you know, my cup of tea. You know, because it's, you know, more for like the, you know, the magic crowd than it is anything. But there was some stuff in there. I was just watching him perform with it, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty genius. So the guy's a really good thinker.
He does have some interesting ideas, though. You know.
Mhm.
And he's a guy that's been around a while. He's not like a new kid on the block. So, you know. And the deck's kind of like a Phoenix deck, but in design, somewhat, not loosely, you know. It's got that kind of squirrely wig design on it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not bad. I mean, it's not like the DMC Elites, you know, the ones that don't have the guy's faces on the Kings. Yeah. You know, the DMC Elites, I think, are a better marking system as far as that kind of thing goes for, like, general work. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Easy to read, sneaky, clean, kind of nice, you know. And a lot of you have been asking about the original Duke ESP deck, the 25-card deck that was put out by Duke. The one with the little blue box with the Duke Chapel on it.
Yes.
You can still get those at the Rhine Research Center in the gift shop. If you go to the Rhine, www.rhine.org and go to the gift shop, under merchandise, you'll see them right there. They are, $20, $25. But these are the original ESP cards.
Now, yeah, if I remember correctly, there was also a marked version of that.
Yeah, there was. It was a starterback design. But the starterback, if you look at the decks, at the Rhine decks, if they're cut the same way the old ones were, you'll have two stars on one corner and one star on the other corner, so it's a one-way type thing, but it's pretty subtle.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to load the machine in about 14 seconds, so bear with the noise. Shouldn't be too bad. So, I mean, that's an interesting type deck. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
That's the coolant fan to a 90-watt laser. I'm feeding in the next lid so we can get this guy's stuff out of here. And then I can escape here in a second. Here. Once I get that reasonably square. Come on, square up. This is kind of difficult to do. One hand. Square enough. Yeah, this is the big waist I'm using right now. Engraving his gigantic logo on these things. And that's the next one done. So, yeah, I mean, the ESP deck, and there was a lot of good work 2-3 decades ago on, ESP card effects from, Ronald Haynes, put out some great stuff. Jerry Masters, Little Packet Effects were great. They all used the Duke cards. Some of them were, gimmicks, some of them weren't, but most of them weren't. But the idea of, the traditional ESP testing decks for, doing some kind of mind act, I really do think they fit. The only other ones I can recommend are the Paralabs ESP decks. The marking system is brilliant.
Right. Well, I was going to say that. That's very good.
But that's going to send you back probably like $9,500 for 2 decks. Or whatever they are. They are worth it, but it's got to be one of those things where you're taking care of your cards,
Right.
And now for you guys that don't know what a card press is, look into it and get one. I don't care if it's a good one, a cheap one, doesn't really matter. It's 4 bolts and 2 pieces of wood just to press the cards flat again. It does help. Used to be used kind of frequently in manipulation cards, but, when you got high-end ESP cards, it's kind of nice to keep them flat. It's like a little miniature book press. For those of you that know what that is. And I think that's it for the buzz and the new stuff. Let's see if we got any questions for this episode. Of course not. Of course we don't have any questions. Now, if you want to ask questions, you can email me at bill@billmontana.com. The website's not working. I keep changing PHP after I fix it, so which is kind of driving me nuts. Who's have to learn? I keep having to learn a new coding language. Not very happy about that. I haven't really even learned the first coding language, so yeah. Go figure. So that brings us to our topic for this evening. Do you have a topic in mind, Robert, that you want to cover too, or?
I mean, right now I can't think of anything, but you did mention that we were going to cover blindfolds.
Yeah, blindfolds.
Yeah.
And blindfold work.
Yeah, because if you look at blindfolds, there's so many to choose from. One doesn't even know where to begin. So I think we should, clarify some of that.
Oh, well, first off, I'm going to clarify by saying get your butts over to E. Raymond Carlisle's place.
Okay.
Ed Fowler. His blindfold is really, really good when working stage acts. Yes, you can see through it. No, you're not going to put it on a spectator. Okay? It's not really an examinable blindfold. It's a blindfold that you pull out of your trouser pocket or whatever. You wrap it around your head, you tie it, you're done. All right? And there's no reason to, when using a blindfold, draw a lot of attention to it, or run while you're hiding. You know what I'm saying? Just hide in plain sight. It's much easier than doing a lot of the hokey stuff. Why do we need to have all of our props examined? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we need to have all these props so they're examinable? What point is this? Most of our routines aren't done under any kind of test conditions, right?
Right.
So if we're not doing them under test conditions, why do I need to hand all this stuff out and have it examined? I mean, who am I trying to quote? What am I trying to sell there? You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
So why are we trying to sell a bunch of stuff that's not really necessarily even need to be sold?
True.
Because, I mean, what are we trying to do? Well, he's blindfolded. He obviously cannot see. That's what we're trying to get the audience to think. Now, the way to get them to think that is, if you're doing a stage show, the effect or the effects before you use the blindfold, okay, very clearly demonstrate the fact that you have paranormal abilities. That is, you can read a thought, you can do your standard stuff. And in those early effects, you don't hand anything out for examination, like the one or two effects before the blindfold, right? Here's the problem. Now, I'll tell you the problem. The guy goes out, and he's so paranoid, he hands out the first piece. He does the first effect. Everything's examinable. He does the second effect. Everything's examinable. Then he does the third effect, and he's handing out a blindfold. It's getting redundant. For one, right? What are we trying to prove here? You see what I'm saying? I mean, there's no reason for any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Just none, really. So if we just pull out the blindfold, use the blindfold as a blindfold when we're doing these kind of things, I think we're okay. Because there's no really committee, there's no judges, there's none of that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if we're convincing in our application that we're going to now blind ourselves, we're not talking about sticking dollars in our eyes and then putting, dough over that and bandages, and I think that's kind of overkill too, although that is at times needed. But if you're going to do a simple blindfold piece where you need to blindfold yourself for a few moments,
mm-hmm.
Still, instead of just turning around and covering your eyes, you may turn around and cover your eyes with the blindfold on, then turn back around and get your peek and take the blindfold off, when the cards or whatever are out of sight. Then you're fine. You see what I'm saying? You're not overkilling it. You're just using it as an extra kind of, just so they know you're not trying to peek or something. You know what I mean? You don't put a lot of emphasis on it. You just did it and went on to something else. I think a lot of people, or a lot of the guys I see, like here, you've seen them too, in Ohio, that do blindfold work from time to time, really do go way over the top on the blindfold thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of the, I don't know if I'm going to get into that, but I'm going to get into it anyway, spiritualist blindfolds. The spiritualist blindfolded act. You familiar with it?
Yes, briefly, but I haven't played around with it one much, so.
Yeah, because it's kind of brazen. I'm going back in this chicken machine to make sure it's still running. Yeah, we're good. I mean, it's kind of bold, it's kind of brazen, there's not a lot of playing around. Okay, the way this works, I'm going to give you the whole act, okay? You're going to do, essentially, a billet peek, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to be clear. This isn't your typical type of billet peek, okay? Or your typical type of billet. This isn't your little folded over index card or your 2¼ inch, billet, right? It's a 4x8 sheet of paper folded in half and folded again into fours. or I'm sorry, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper folded into fours. Okay? Full-size sheet of paper folded into fours. Now, this is a traditional spiritualist, one version of the spiritualist billet act. They take the billets in a box. Okay? The box isn't gimmicked. Cardboard box, shoe box, collect the paper. Okay? Nothing really there, right? The medium, usually a female medium, will blindfold herself, so she's not looking at anything. She reaches over, picks up, and she's actually genuinely really blindfolded, you know? I mean, that blindfold could be just a piece of cloth, you know, that's examinable. She reaches over, picks up the first piece out of the box, offers it up in a prayer fashion, you know, holds it up in the air, makes a few prayers, and when she brings it down, she opens it up. All four folds open up, flat, sits on the table, face up. Okay? This is repeated with the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So at the end, she has, physically, these very large billets laying completely open in a stack.
Oh.
The blindfold is then removed and she begins to talk. Remember, the billets that were folded earlier, subterfuge. All the questions are very visible right in front of her. She just glances down. She'll walk over, give her a message, usually standing like in the front of where the billets are, after she's already peeked it. Talk about it, reach over, grab the piece of paper, and hand it back to the person. AKA the ball's peaked. You know, because you got the 4x8s that were folded, now they're open. And that's the way it was traditionally done for years. Years. How simple is that? I mean, you can't read an open 4x8 sheet of paper? Offering up in prayers and subterfuge is all subterfuge. You know what I'm saying? Having them folded is subterfuge. It just employs extra energy into the billet. And then you have them open it, you lay them face up so you can see them. Now, the audience really doesn't know if they're face up or face down. You see what I'm saying? You don't actually call any attention to that. You can lay it, the first one face down after you peeked it, you know, down the nose kind of thing. Boom. Or, you know, whatever you want to do. And that's essentially a spiritualist billet routine. Now, it's going to be supplemented with a lot of jargons, a lot of talking, a lot of prayers, a lot of this, a lot of that. Things that are actually associated with real spiritualism.
Wow.
You know what the best part of the routine is? Most of the time when I've seen it, the person actually doesn't even read the billets or the pages. Completely ignores them. That's a thing of beauty. Right there. Right there. Right? Why would we have somebody write something down and completely ignore it? You thinking?
That's true.
Well, no. Well, why would we do that? There has to be a reason for that.
Well, I mean, you want to have that delay there. You know, you don't want to make it too obvious. And then use the information.
No, it's pretty obvious. I mean, it's pretty obvious what's going on. It's not like anything's really that well hidden, right? But so back to the question, why would we have something written down? Okay, I got a group of 20 people. Hypothetically. Why would I have all 20 write something down?
One thing comes to mind is the way Bob Cassidy would say it, is that first, to lock your thought down onto a piece of paper, and second, from later changing their mind and then making a performer look stupid.
Well, no, it's far more simple than that. The reason I had them write it down is because I wanted all 20 people involved in what we are doing.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Does that make more sense, actually?
Yeah.
Even if I get everything wrong from that point forward, I've still got the engagement and the involvement in the audience. Now, how many messages am I actually give out in an hour with 20 people? Well, I might be able to do all of 20. But if I have larger crowds, I might choose to only do the traditional billet approach where I use 6 or 7 messages. So what about the other 14? Or hypothetical 20? Doesn't matter. I still engaged them in the show. They were still a part of the whole.
True.
See what I mean? That's more important, because remember what we talked about last time is engagement. How to engage your audience. How to become, because here's the thing. If they got a clipboard, you got a clipboard, just work with clipboards or books or whatever you're writing on, tables, some paper and pencils. You can everybody a piece of paper and a pencil. Okay? Even if it is a golf pencil, because you want it consistent in case you're using other devices later. Or pins or whatever you got laying around. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What's not in their hand at this point? Their cell phone. Okay, at this point, even if they have a cell phone that's still on or something, they may go ahead and turn it off and put it in their pocket, as per your earlier instructions. See what I mean? There's all kinds of strategies to get people to do things without actually having to bring up the issue, turn off your phone. Clear your hands. Get your hands out of the way, or get whatever's in your hands that's distracting you out of the way. Get rid of distractions, right? So we have blank paper, big sheets, full body, printer sheets. That's cheap enough. With some pencils. Write this really big. Who do you want to contact or why? And sign your name on it. Now, let's say we do the same routine again, but this time we use one of the other devices where we're only going to get 1 or 2 guaranteed hits. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They bring in things up. I offer them up in prayer in the spiritual routine, or a prayer thing folded, and I throw them back in another box. Never even open. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Same routine, done a little differently. And then I go into my, clairvoyant, cold reading, over for conversations, Facebook research, blah, 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 newspaper articles, and so forth, and I already got all my information. See what I mean?
Right.
Just by knowing who's going to be there. So we can do the same type of spiritual acts without all the subterfuge and actually do it pretty much with or without a blindfold for real. I kind of like that idea, actually. I haven't done it. You know why? Because it's simple. Now, you've got a couple different types of blindfolds. You got the Mentalist Dream, which is a blindfold that's basically a folded type. You have the old see-through blindfold that I think is put out by Chicago Magic. Or Magic Makers now are one of those. It's been around the 60s. A little strap. You pull the strap, you get big eye holes inside of it. It's a pretty decent blindfold for, $10, $11 out of China right now. A couple of U.S. sellers for $12 or less. You get the True Sight blindfold. Really not impressed with that one. We get the Osculin stainless steel. That's a nice blindfold. I had to spend more money. But that's a pretty cool blindfold if you want to have something that's, it's metal. You're not going to be able to see through it. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to convince a lot of people there. I do like that one, actually. It's not a bad blindfold.
Yeah, are you talking about the Australian stainless steel blindfold?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very nice. I mean, it looks big on your face. You know, I mean, it looks like it's just, you know, it looks like these big 60s or 1970s, you know, fashion glasses.
Yeah, it looks like kind of like a sleep mask too. And sleep masks can be used. You know, if you search sleep mask, there's ways to peek through certain sleep masks that are just genuine sleep masks you buy at, you know, one of the home goods stores. Or the home supply stores, whatever they're called now. You have something known as a blindfold driving bag, you know, a whole bag that goes over your head. That can be effective, you know. One I made a long time ago was the rear vision bag. That was kind of a complicated piece of work, actually. It's basically a solid, non-seeing from the front. You can't see through it, okay? And you're not going to have this one examined either. You're actually going to switch it for a duplicate if you need to. But inside of it's a mirror. I only made about 2 or 3 of these. I used one of them for reverse drive, blindfold drive. That shit. Crazy idea. I don't know why I did it, but I did it. So you got the bag on your head, you got a mirror, and you're actually looking straight forward, looking at the mirror that's going behind, like rear view glasses. You know what I'm saying? But inside of a bag, so you got this really ultra see-through back on it, so you can see out of it. You know, I only made a couple of those, so I don't even remember who the guy sold one of them to. The other one's still laying around here somewhere. But that was so you could drive a car backwards while wearing a blindfold. You know, overkill. Really just ridiculous overkill.
Right.
I would not recommend anybody do that routine. It was nuts. Driving backwards while blindfold. That's a bright one. But, you know, back in the early days, everybody was thinking in this overkill kind of strategy, and there's really no point for it, you know? Except some of us did experiment with some more ridiculous kind of ideas. You know, we could also mention in this thing, for blindfold kind of stuff, It's a Lulu by Doc Hilford, the old book he had out.
Which one are you referring to?
It's a Lulu. It's old.
Oh, yes. It's a Lulu. Yeah.
Yeah, the old nightclub Lulu act.
Mm-hmm.
That has some blindfold stuff in it. Now, here's another good application. I'll give you another good application of blindfolds. And when the blindfolds really do kind of function fairly well in this manner, where you just pull it out and put it on. Sound reading.
Oh, yes.
Because here you're trying to convince somebody that you haven't peaked anything. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good application. Now, one of the best sound reading programs that was ever put out was actually put out on a cassette tape by Doc Hilford.
Mm-hmm.
It is on audio cassette. That's little cassettes for you guys that have a little tape in them that spun around. Old obsolete technology. Tell you how long ago that was. There was a rumor he was going to redo that. I don't know if he ever did, or put it out on CD or digital download or something. I don't know if he ever got around to it. But really a pretty good program on how to read sound off of slates.
Yeah, now, I think that was on a earlier work, but I don't think he put that out recently.
No, it was earlier. I mean, it was 70s, 80s. Sound reading back in cassettes were all the rage, you know. But that was 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What it is, a really good program to teach you sound reading, you know. The problem with sound reading, the only problem you ever run into with sound reading is how some people draw their 7s and 1s. Some people draw a 1 with a little piece up or down, so it's like 3, or 7 where they cross it, make it look like a 2. Which I happen to have a chalkboard, so this is a 3 version 7. Okay, now you might address that as something else. I'm doing that a little loud, but it's actually a 1 because there's 3 crosses. That's a 3. It's a 7 if you guys can hear that. But that's what they cross in the middle of the European way of drawing a 7. So you have a little variances there too, but the sound reading I thought was a really, really solid program that made a lot of sense. I am going to change the machine again because I want this done. So bear with me. Why don't you talk for a minute, Robert, and kind of mask up some of the noise I'm getting ready to make.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sometimes with the sound reading, it's like, like Bill said, with the 1s and the 7s, those could be really challenging numbers because with 1s, especially in America, they'll just, draw a straight line down. Now, for the more like a European descendant people, they're going to put they're going to draw like a little tail on the top and then bring the line down. So you
can cross the line that comes down too. There's like a little hyphen cross in there. It gets kind of weird.
Right, exactly. So, and then the 7s also, certain every person draws a 7 differently. Sometimes it's like just 2 lines, straight across and then down at an angle. Or sometimes they'll put like a little tail at the beginning and then bring a horizontal line and then bring it down. Or like the Europeans would, they would draw the 7 and then put another line through the center. So
yeah, and I've seen them do that with Z too. Z, where they have an extra line through Z.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
Which they call Z.
Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do have some continental differences. Now, the nice thing I liked about the old doc program, from what I remember, you did address some of those. You didn't address all of them, but you did address some of them. And Doc, if you're listening to this, sound reading 2. You still got the best work on it, brother. So. You know what I'm saying. It's just it's good stuff. But the point here is that I think a lot of this time when we're doing mentalism, or you see people doing mentalism, it's overkill. They're trying to overprove everything, and that never seems to work anyway. Right? Mm-hmm. Overproving mentalism doesn't work. There's no reason in it. But what about the skeptics? I haven't seen a skeptic in, I don't know, since I quit faith healing. Well, I saw 1 or 2, but I threw them out immediately, so we got rid of the disruptive little buzz. Don't have time for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One, they're not buying. They're not buying. Not a free event. They're not buying anything. They're just there to disrupt it. Get out. They're screwing up my back in the room sales. Go away. Actually made pretty good money that day once I booted this idiot. What? You're going to come in and disrupt my show? No, I don't think so.
Yeah. This is my show. Get out.
We got no tolerance for that, man. And it's not real hard to get rid of them. Just go see the management of the place and say, hey, this guy, he's out the door. So the whole idea of having to overprove everything is just kind of ridiculous, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you do need to overprove something, or you need a little bit extra, proving, let them examine it after you're done, And a simple switch can get rid of all dirty evidence. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm saying. But do it at the end. Don't do it at the beginning. One, it eats time. It's kind of pointless. You know what I'm saying? If I got a 35-minute gig or a 40-minute show, you know, if I got my normal 4 hours, it doesn't really matter because I'm gonna do what I want anyway.
Mhm.
Like if I'm doing the 4-hour lectures or 8-hour lectures or something, I got all day. I'm not pressed. But if I'm on a narrow time zone or time limit, I've only got, you know, X amount of time I can goof around. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So, and if I have them examine it, do a committee examining thing, kind of ridiculous. Because let me explain it this way. I hand you a piece of paper. I have you write something on it, right? I have you fold it up and put it in your pocket. And I take the clipboard back, okay? And then I have you re-examine the piece of paper.
Yeah.
You see what I'm getting at? You see what I'm getting at? But I've seen that. Now, that's the paper you wrote, right? Guy's thinking, dude, I wrote it. I'm not an idiot. I wrote the thing. So, you know, what's the point of any of that? Right? What's the point of doing half of that stuff? I mean, I've seen one show, I'm going to leave the performer's name nameless. Every act opened, everything he did opened with something being examined before and after. It was overkill, you know?
Uh-huh.
And it was examined to the point where nobody believed that's what he was doing anyway. It led to an idea that this guy's faking it somehow. We may not be sure how he's faking it, but he's faking. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I've seen a very similar act to that act, where there was nothing examined, it was just done, and it looked much better. It was also more believable, you know? Similar effects. I mean, very similar effects, like, you know, a version of oil and water and a version of oil and water. I mean, it was, you know, that kind of similar. Although they weren't using oil and water, they're using some old magic stuff. Mm-hmm. But you know, it was that kind of thing though, where they were using the same effects basically, but one had to overprove everything by having everything examined, and the other one was, you know, no examination really needed. And the guy had a marked deck, and he said, "Here, shuffle this." The guy shuffled it, handed it back to him. Done. If he wanted to complain about the markings on the deck, he would have done so when he shuffled it, right?
Right.
So, I mean, you know, and it's like, what was the one I saw? I'm thinking of another one I saw that was just completely stupid. Oh, this is called the Popeye Popper. I'm like, oh, God. You tell the effect after the deck he was using. I was like, well, that's easily Googleable. You know, I looked over and there's 3 or 4 guys with cell phones Googling Popeye Popper. Oh, here's a video on Vimeo. Oh, fuck, dude. Come on. There's no point in that. You know, change the title. Don't title anything. Just go out and do it. Especially in mentalism. Now, in some magic stuff, it is good to have them examine it before you, like, make it vanish. You know, the silk, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hand you a silk. I say, check this out. And they hand it back to me. Put it in my hand. It's gone. Okay, that's cool. I can appreciate the logic in that. I mean, there's at least some logic there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I want you to physically see that it is a real object before it goes poof. Okay, that makes some sense. It doesn't make any sense in that. I mean, would you agree or no?
No, I totally agree.
I mean, do you have a different take on that, or?
No, I totally agree with what you were saying.
Yeah. So why are we running? You know, half the shows were spent running up a hill. So why don't you use a disclaimer? Because disclaimers lead to running up a hill too, you know? I think that's all kind of pointless too.
Yeah.
I think Cassie's line was probably the best disclaimer ever. What you're about to see is unreal. Yeah. Should have had the Jamie and Swiss after telling me how to use the disclaimer. Like, come on, man. Jamie and Swiss.
One of the greatest lines ever.
Finally, somebody put that guy in his place. We're on a stage in a theater, right? Like there's all this, and none of this is real, dude. Come on, this is called, theater. Jesus. He's such an anti-skeptic. And I can give you 90,000 pages of a remote viewing project that says it's real. So, take that. Try to read some of that sometime.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing about that. Like, disclaimers, they don't make any kind of sense whatsoever in the eyes of your spectators. Now, if you were doing it for like a group of skeptics, well, then, that's a little different. But in terms of, like, the lay audience, they don't care. Because actually a disclaimer can work against you. Because on one hand, if you say that everything you're doing is real, then you're just gonna piss off the people that that don't believe in it. Now, or if you say everything I do is fake, well, you're gonna piss off the people that actually are more open-minded. So
it's kind of, the whole thing is just a big trap. It's stupid, it's illogical, and it's a trap.
Yeah, and that's why I always leave it to spectators to judge for themselves, whether they are believers or not, because all they want to do is be entertained.
Right, and I work a lot of psychic fairs, so I get a little bit more liberties than a lot of you guys are out there, working the nightclubs. But
yeah,
because frankly, they believe a lot of what we do is real.
Mhm.
And a lot of it is real, and I had somebody first class relic from a saint. It's a real object. It's not a fake object.
Mhm. Yeah.
So there's a lot of like. I think it's best when you blur the lines. Or you play it totally real, and you do totally real stuff. Those are extraordinary shows, but they're so advanced that you have to have chaos and audience management as your command machine. You're running chaos and audience management, and you're running all kinds of crazy theories that, wouldn't make sense to a stage club performer.
Right.
They don't have any context of how to actually use chaos.
Mhm.
Generally speaking,
Generally.
Chaos is in my style of chaos, where I just go ahead and do whatever I want to do, and I can change it up, and I just go with the flow. That is the audience flow. If it's working, we'll continue on those lines. But if it's not working, we'll switch to something else and find something that works.
Uh-huh.
But doing that, that's a different set of skills, right?
Right.
And I'm also using different tools. I'm not using anything from mentalism. I'm using crystals. I'm using gemstones. I'm using some, symbolic symbols and pictures, and I'm creating effects with these. These are very real items they can buy, at the local shop that we're talking at,
Mhm.
Having an image, a sacred image of a Ganesh or something, send energy into the audience, and the audience receiving it back. It's very strong stuff. When you're working that kind of crowd, but if you're not working that kind of crowd, your regular crowd is not going to get that, And then you mix that with tarot and other things. There was one other thing on Buzz, and then we'll wrap up. I think we're about an hour?
Close to it, yeah.
The Van Helsing Mark Tarot Deck.
Oh.
So it's also available at Stevens. Just came out a couple months ago. I haven't actually seen the copy of the deck yet, so I can't tell you what kind of paper it is or anything about it. But there is now a Mark Tarot deck on the market that's easily accessible.
Uh-huh.
The deck comes with Let's see what all this thing comes with, because it comes with quite a bit of stuff. Let me pull up the joys of new marketing. As we have computers that can take us online while we're on the teleseminar. I thought I saw it earlier. Let me see if I can pull it up. Give me some. Yeah, here it is. It's called the Van Helsing Tarot Book and Marked Deck Combo. The cards look fairly interesting. I looked at these cards. They get a really nice back design. It's like a angel holding a cupid, and it's red. It looks pretty good. Not sure if it's a full deck. It looks like it's just like a major arcana. And I think it is just the major. I'm trying to see if they specify. Yeah, major arcana. Yeah, it looks like just you can read more about that, Stephen. So the Van Helsing, it's $60. It comes with a really nice printed book. I remember Mark tipped me off to when this came out, but that was a couple months ago when we started playing this whole thing. We never really got around to doing it. So, But you got a nice printed book there. The book looks pretty good. But this would be a good thing for a guy to start out with that wanted it's a hard. It looks like a hardcover book too. That's pretty cool. Gaff kind of tarot deck, because they're fairly obscure, hard to find. Poor Raventhal made a really great major arcana Gaff tarot deck some years back, but I don't know if they're still in production or not. I don't think they are. Because it's been a while. He also makes a great squirrel foot pendulum. For those of you don't want to earn the pendulums, those usually sell out the minute he puts them up. But so that's pretty cool stuff. But yeah, blindfold work. Don't run. Just try it. If it doesn't work for you, it may be the fact that the blindfold idea just doesn't work for you. Some people I've noticed that perform can really, really use a blindfold really well, and just have a great time using it. And they're comfortable in it. And other people, it's like when they're putting on a blindfold, they automatically put on a propeller beanie, because it just doesn't look right. It doesn't really fit with what they do. So that's the one thing you got to determine when you're using a blindfold. Is does the blindfold actually work with your persona on stage? That is you on stage, by the way. There's no. I can't really say there's anything strange about other than it is you on stage. Your crafted persona at some point is going to break down when you're on stage, and this is going to be just you. So you're better off just going on stage as you. You see what I'm saying?
So true.
Because you remember back in the early days when you started learning how to perform, right? You had to create a persona. That is an image that you thought a mentalist should be on a stage, right? Which that probably lasted, I don't know, maybe a few shows.
Yeah.
And then you decided, well, this is just stupid. Why am I doing this? Right?
Right.
Why don't I just go up there as me and the stuff I'm interested in to share that with the audience, and then the show took off, became much better, and you started getting better gigs. Right? Because once you realized you were interesting enough without having all the added persona, character BS, it was a totally new game. And that's what I'm telling the people out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're interesting enough. Look, if you've gotten to the point where you're wanting to be a mentalist, you are a mentalist. You're already down the rabbit hole far enough to be able to go out as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You've already studied. You've already done everything you need to do to get on that stage and do a mentalist act. So why do you need to be any different than you are right now? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a mentalist type that likes to, go out and drink beer, do all that crazy stuff, well, walk out on stage with beer.
Yeah. Might as well.
Be that. Be a level. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't. I'm not saying have 5 or 6 before you get on stage.
Because that's Dr. Bob's trademark.
Yeah, well, I mean that could get ugly.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're, let's say you're an old gin or scotch head, and you walk out in the audience and they're looking at you for the first minute or so, you take a drink. That's to keep the shakes away, and then you go into your routine. Because now you lost them. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point they're thinking, well, this guy just say he's an alcoholic? Yes, he's an alcoholic. He's an alcoholic mind reader. And he's just going to go with it, But there's no reason to do a lot of added weird stuff. If you are that, be that. Pretty much what I'm saying. Yeah. And you'll find a transformation somewhere in there, Mm-hmm. You'll reach a happy medium between the two. Between the extremes of your personality and the non-extremes. Or the creative character. You'll reach something that's a little bit more realistic. Because, I mean, I've seen it bizarre all the time. It's just weirdness, Too much of the over-persona thing, And there's some of that persona that's going to come with stage technique and stage work, but you don't need to go into the deep end of that. You know what I'm saying? Just be you.
Yeah.
You could be far more interesting than most of the people out there. You look at Bob, man. Bob is a stage. Bob's Bob. He's telling jokes. He's having fun.
That he is.
You remember, we were there. And we went out to pizza afterwards. It was a good time. And hanging out with Cass. He's pretty much like he is on stage. I mean, this isn't really a performance issue here. This is more like just Bob Cassidy, the mastermind reader, So, God miss that old boy. But that's the way it is,
Yeah.
But there's a lot to this thing where I must say, craft your persona as you. Just make it a little bit bigger and more enlarged, Enlarge yourself. Well, you look at Michael Finney. I mean, I think Michael Finney's a great example of a persona. When he hits the stage, he's light and funny and, wholehearted and stuff. He's like that in real life.
Yeah.
He's not creating some fake act. I mean, there's no fakery there. He's just, it's just who he is. Doing extremely simple effects. He's been doing for 30 or 40 years, doing them very well. There's nothing complicated in that show. Not one single complicated move in that show. Love that show. Absolutely love it. Simple, direct, clean, effective. Everybody loves the trick. You don't understand what I'm talking about? Watch a live performance of him doing Professor's Nightmare. A little rope thing with 3 ropes, yeah. Just brings that thing to life, And that's a trick that most of us would have learned in our first year of magic. Most of us would learn that before we learned to cut and restore rope. I mean, it's one of those things that just, well, that is when you were going to magic shops and, because the magician, the magic shops were making that thing in the back room, pitching it to you for $20. But hey,
Yeah.
They had to pay the bills. But that's the thing, with persona, it's like when you use a blindfold. If it doesn't fit your persona, don't use the blindfold. I don't care how cool you think the routine is. right? How cool or neat you think a routine is may not be right for your professional show. I mean, there's things I've used once and said, we're not going to use that anymore because it doesn't quite fit, you know?
Yeah.
It just seems off, and I feel off doing it. It's a great piece. I love the thing, but it just doesn't fit with what I'm doing. So why do you want to continue to use it? I mean, I suppose I could make it work, you know, but or am I trying to force it? So I'm better off using something much simpler. I mean, maybe an old Orman McGill effect, or, you know, something that, you know, fits my style a little bit, maybe an old David Hoy, you know, tossed out deck. You know, the original with all the colors the same. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
No reason to hide any of that, really, you know. Because there's a lot of this stuff I think is getting overproved, and when they try to sell it to you as an effect, it's overproved effect. It's like, you do all this, you can hand it out, and you did it. But now there was a point there for a while that, well, can it be examinable? Can they examine everything? Yeah, considering they get to select their own props. Yeah, I think so. Is it 100%? No, nothing's 100%. You know, unless you follow instructions really well, but most of you will never follow instructions. I mean, the professor's nightmare is not 100% if you grab the wrong rope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Blown that one a couple times. And they're all the same. No, they're not. No. And we got the shorter rope. Let's try that again. If things go wrong, you get distracted, you know. But, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. And on one of these podcasts, if we continue this, we will actually get into how to deal with things that go wrong.
Yes.
But the sites of the week are Steven's Magic Emporium and iEntertainer, so go ahead and check those out. We are a listener-supported Psicast. I mean, we're paying the bill on this one. If you guys wouldn't mind donating a few bucks to us to help us out, we can keep this going. We don't get any interest or donations. I'm not going to keep it going. My email, you can reach me at for the other email for PayPal and so forth is bill@billmontana.com. Spelled exactly as it sounds. And you can reach Robert there at his site. And I think that's it for this one, unless you got anything else.
Good. All I want to say is that as this is listener supported, just wanted to say that if anytime you make a donation of at least $10, then you will be automatically entered into a monthly drawing where we will pick out one lucky winner to receive a free workshop that we put out on audio during that month. So anything helps, definitely. Put this.
Yeah, right now this month we've got the Zeke Powers program.
Yeah.
Program we did with Zeke. What else we got this month? What else we do this month? Psychic Word 3.
4. Yep.
Those are Inside the Seance Mind, I believe, is all in this month.
Yeah.
And those are valued at $57 a piece.
Right. Exactly. So.
And then we got another program coming up Sunday. It's going to be kind of exciting. I'm kind of stoked about that one. That was going to be way cool.
Yeah. So,
all right, man. Let's take
awesome.
us out because I'm heading to the diner before it closes, bro.
All right, awesome. Well, Bill, that was really awesome, and thank you to all of you who listened to this. And until the next Psicast, we will see you guys later.